Idaho Matters podcast is brought to you by St. Luke's On-Demand Virtual Care, which allows patients to see a provider from their home using a computer or smartphone with on-demand care for common ailments, such as a cough, sore throat, or a sinus issue. More information at stlukesonline.org. Before today's episode, an important message. The White House has asked Congress to rescind funding that was already approved for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. That funding supports trusted, independent journalism like the interview you're about to hear. Without it, Idaho Matters could face serious cuts. Learn how you can help protect public media at boisestatepublicradio.org/funding. More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudet. 2 weeks ago, the city of Caldwell announced that they might not be able to keep paying the West Valley Humane Society to take care of strays in Canyon County. Now, this was quite the stunning announcement, and it came after West Valley said it was raising its rates for Caldwell from about $70,000 to more than $500,000, saying they've been undercharging for their services for years, and they needed the increase just to pay the bills. Now, the city of Caldwell said in order to pay for the rate hike, they might have to forego new police officers and fire department personnel. Now, this issue came to a head last week at a public hearing where Caldwell residents voiced their concerns. We wanted to get both sides of this story. So on Thursday, we will hear from West Valley. But today, we're beginning this conversation with the mayor of Caldwell, Jerome Wagner, to find out more about this. Mayor, I want to welcome you to the program.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
So, Mayor, can we just clear up any confusion? What does West Valley do for the city of Caldwell and for Canyon County? I mean, what services do they provide right now?
So, West Valley Humane Society is a contractor for the city of Caldwell, also with the city of Nampa and Canyon County. And with their contract, they are contracted to take care of the animals. So they are not the animal control for Caldwell. We have our own animal control officers that are housed within our police department that do that portion. So the West Valley Humane Society, they house those animals for whether it's the Caldwell animal control officers that are dropping them off or the general public. So that is their kind of responsibility as the contractor for those services.
So I want to talk money next. West Valley wants almost $500,000 more than their current contract. And you did say in a news release that paying for the rate hike will, quote, likely prevent Caldwell Police and Caldwell Fire from adding new positions, unquote. So is there no other way to pay West Valley?
So it gets very complicated with the budget. So it essentially comes from the general fund, which is the taxpayer dollars. And currently, those funds are housed within the police department. As I mentioned, that we do have our animal control officers, and obviously they fall under the police department budget, which is the general fund from property tax. And so the increases to that would affect directly within that organization and possibly leak over into the fire. There are other general fund accounts that are in there. Those are definitely the two largest by far in that regards. But again, it is housed under the police department, so that's typically where those increases would be found, is within their budget.
Now, my understanding is you floated the idea of more tax levies to pay this cost. Is that actually feasible? And frankly, would taxpayers go for that?
And that's the question, and we are hoping to find that out. And I think it's important that taking care of our animals is very important to myself, to the members, to the council. We understand the need that is out there. One, to provide that service to the community. Then also, we're all animal lovers, and we all appreciate our pets that we have and our families and things of that nature. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of the animals, but also that we're getting the community input in how do they want us to spend those taxpayer dollars. Because at the end of the day, it is the citizens' money of Caldwell that is being used to fund those sources. So we want to see what is the general consensus of the public of how they want to move forward with that.
You've also, let me back up a minute. West Valley has says that you are misrepresenting the nature of their funding request. And they've gone on to say that you're trying to shift the blame, you're trying to create public confusion. All of that is their words. And they say this, that you are doing that when you say you might have to divert money from police and fire departments. You've said you're trying to be transparent about what the city might
Hmm.
have to do. So, can you talk about these accusations that they are saying in regards to what you have said?
Yeah, and I really think at the end of the day, we don't need to be blaming each other. It doesn't do anybody any good to point fingers one at the other. We all serve the citizens of Caldwell, whether it's us at the city, at the West Valley Humane Society. So we need to work together. We can't just try to shift blame from one to the other. There's an issue, and we need to figure out how to solve that issue. And by doing that, we need to partner together. Partnership is a two-way street in whatever partnership you're with. And I know that was a real concern from the city council when they did present. And it was kind of a you either pay the increase or we're leaving town, was kind of the way that it was portrayed and
Mm,
stated. And that's just not a partnership. We need to work together. We're 100% on board to provide the best quality service to the citizens of Caldwell, to work with West Valley Humane Society. If that is the contractor that we move forward with, just at the end of the day, we want to make sure we're serving our citizens in the best way possible and providing the needs and the care for the animals that are within our community.
well, West Valley though says that they've been in negotiations with the city since November, and they went on to say that this new dollar amount actually should not have been a surprise to you and the council. So my question to you is this: were you aware that the price was going to go up this much?
So they had reached out, and I don't have all of the details. So they did not reach out to me or my office. They were working with our Caldwell Police Department, with our finance department. There was very preliminary discussions back in November, so the end of last year, where they kind of had come forward. And at that time, the amount was $400,000, is my understanding that they were asking for, and that the city let them know that that was most likely not feasible. We were willing at the time. The proposal was to increase our fees. As you mentioned, they're right around $65,000. So 70,000, I believe, this year with the 3% increase that we had. So the proposal was we could provide you with $120,000 and to put that into the budget at that time. And then there wasn't much communication back and forth. And then I know in March it kind of came up again, and our finance director was like, then the amount went up to the $550,000. And so we need to get this to council, get their input due to the large increase on that. So that's where it did come before council a few months ago in regards to a workshop to get their direction and their input on it, and also to have West Valley there to present the reason for that drastic increase.
Hmm. So you did hold your first public hearing on this issue last week. What did you hear from residents during that hearing?
It was a great hearing. It was a town hall. So we wanted to hear again from the citizens of Caldwell, and we allowed others to come and speak as well. And it was exceptionally well done. I appreciate so much the citizens that were there, that took the time to be there, that were able to be there, and the respect that was shown. It was a great example of what public input should be like, is giving your honest feedback, providing opportunities for solutions and your thoughts on that in a very respectful manner. So I appreciated everyone that was there, the words that were spoken, the way that they were spoken, and the suggestions that they gave to really, we need to look rather than just continuing. What I got from it was that the citizens said, rather than continuing throwing money at the problem, how do we fix the problem? And so that was a lot of the
Mm.
dialogue and what we're looking into in that regards. And it was a fantastic meeting. We really enjoyed it. The input that was given. We're going to have another one on the 30th, and we look forward to that as well, to get that feedback from the citizens and their ideas of how do we move forward, how do we solve this situation.
So what happens after Monday's hearing, June 30th, if you cannot work out a deal with West Valley? My understanding is that you do have a contract with them through September of 2026. But if you cannot resolve this issue with them, what then?
Yeah, and that's a great question. That's kind of where we're at. So we're looking forward to hearing some feedback on the 30th, talking with West Valley. As you said, we are in a contract already with them. So this is not the end of a contract, working on a new contract. We are in a valid contract with them through September of next year at the negotiated price, which is the 72,000, with, I believe, a 3% increase for the next year on that. So we are in contract with them. So we hope that we can that they will remain valid to that contract and honor that contract that they're in as we are on our side. But again, we realize they're in a tough situation. We want to work together. But again, as the city, when we work through our budget, if the funding's not there, we have to start making cuts. We have to look at ways that we can reduce our spending to make sure we stay within budget. And so we hope that we can sit down with West Valley, work together, partner together to figure out, where could some of those cuts take place? Can we get more volunteers in there to help out, not have so many employees that are on the payroll? So looking at all those different options, and again, making it a true partnership with whoever, West Valley, whoever it is that we're working with, that we're working together to provide the best service at the end of the day.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in and talking with us. We've been speaking with Caldwell Mayor Jerem Wagner about a proposed rate hike by the West Valley Humane Society. Now, as we mentioned, the next public hearing is set for Monday night at Caldwell City Hall. And do remember, we do want to hear from the other side. So on Thursday, when you join us for Idaho Matters, we will hear from West Valley and get their side of this issue as well. And that'll do it for this episode of Idaho Matters. Thanks so much for listening. And just a reminder, you can find all of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts.
Planet Money helps you understand the economy. We find the people at the center of the story.
Garbage in New York, that was like a controlled substance.
We show you how money influences everything.
Tell me what you like by telling me how you spend your money.
And we dig until we get answers.
I had a bad feeling you're going to bring that up.
Planet Money finds out. All you have to do is listen. The Planet Money Podcast from NPR.